5 ways that you can build confidence. The first thing, affirming activities. I love Jay Shetty because he said this quote. He said, every year he's always learning, loving, and launching something. You always need to be learning, loving, and launching. When you are learning something, it's a humbling place to be. You're not going to be good at it. You're going to be a beginner, and it's not going to be confidence boosting. But when you are loving and launching something, you're in alignment, you're walking in purpose. So at every point in your life, you should be learning, loving, and launching. So what are those affirming activities that you're doing to remind you of how far you've come? Okay. So the first one, affirming activities. The second thing, affirming friends. Affirming friends. Guys, insecurity and confidence don't speak the same language. Get new friends. I had friends that used to project their insecurities on me. They would like shame me for having habits, but every day you should have an alarm, or you should set an alarm that has 3 words that remind you of yourself. Or for me, I also like to do things that are like affirmations. So I'm like, I like to tell myself daily, like, this is all a part of God's plan. This is God, you're building God's kingdom. That's something I tell myself daily. So when I see that, little notification come on my phone, it gets me re-excited. And a friend tried to shame me for having that like habit. And I was like, man, what is it like to be so insecure with yourself that you shame someone for like wanting to like walk in alignment? I was like, I don't need you in my life. Yeah, have affirming friends, people who are also building legacies, people who also understand that life is temporary and what you build is the only thing that lasts forever. Like, how many of you guys have picked up a book that's 200 years old? How insane is that? 200 years ago, someone wrote a book not knowing that 200 years later, Glow would come walking through and finds it in a used bookstore. How cool is that? You do not know how far your story is going to reach, okay? So number 1, affirming activities. Number 2, affirming friends. Number 3, affirming documentation. I record time lapses. I watch the sunrise every single day. There are so many things that I do every single day that remind me of like, oh, I'm building something. And I like to look back on those time lapses like, oh, I remember when I was launching that. Affirming documentation. When you're recording yourself on video because you want to share it on Instagram, or maybe you don't share it, but just having it so that you can look back on it to remind yourself of like, oh, I remember that season of my life when I was getting ready to launch my podcast and I recorded a video of it. Anytime I'm feeling really vulnerable or in a season of like change or transition, I like to have these like video diaries where I'm like, all right, the day is, March 7th, quarantine day 385. And here's how I feel. And here's what I'm doing. But I love to document those small everyday moments because you're going to look back and be like, wow, I was so confused in that season, but I showed up anyway. There's a lot of people who you can scroll through my Instagram and you won't know the times where I was battling depression and I was just so confused and so unsure. I talk about it later on, but in those moments, I show up anyway because I'm like, someone needs me. I'm like, Glow, I don't feel it today, but someone else needs it. And like, again, daily, I recognize my privileges. Daily, I recognize my blessings. And I'm like, there's someone else who's probably going to be in bed when they're watching my video and I'm talking to them about purpose. They're going to need this. So I'm going to record the video. And then I don't care that I don't sound, like a woman. I need to really stop joking about that. Maybe my next therapist appointment, I need to unpack that. Okay, number 4, affirming consumption. Now this is on the extreme side, but I created a second Instagram account to follow friends because on my main page, I only want to see personal development, business strategy, entrepreneurship, positivity. And I notice like I love my friends, but if they're posting junk, I'm missing the stuff that I actually need to see. So I had to create, if you notice, Brendan only follows like 100 people. He knows what he's doing. He's got to keep the noise out. Social media is a very loud place. And if the stuff that you actually want to see is drowned underneath everyone else's like pictures of food, I don't know, baby announcements, congratulations. I'm happy for you, but I'll congratulate you from my other page, because if I have 15 minutes to scroll on Instagram every day, I need to get the best of the best. I want to make sure I'm getting affirming consumption. And the last thing, affirming rest. How can you be confident when you're always in a hurry? always overwhelmed, always triggered, always stressed. Okay. 7 hours is like my minimum. 8 is my standard, but I need 7. And there's different like sleep devices. You can have like a Galaxy Watch or an Apple Watch that can track your sleep hours and your REM cycle, your deep sleep, your light sleep. And again, to any new mothers, you guys are in a different ballpark, and I'm sorry, and I hope your baby starts sleeping soon. I know like new parenthood is a different story, but when you can get to that place of like, maybe it's sacrificing an hour of Netflix to go to bed an hour earlier. I set my phone every day, and it's automatic now because I've trained my phone to do this. And 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., I am unreachable. No one can access me from 8, like literally my phone goes on do not disturb, meaning that calls get blocked. If someone tries to call me after 8 p.m. or before 8 a.m., it won't even go through. It'll just say this user is not accepting calls right now. They got a text or send an email. Actually, text messages can't even get through until I've turned off do not disturb. And what's great about that is it allows me 12 uninterrupted hours to focus on me, to like start winding down for the day, to start preparing for the day, like having my morning routine and like saying affirmations to myself, journaling, working through like, okay, what is my plan for the day? High performance planner, wink, wink, giving myself time to like fill out all of those prompts and schedule my day accordingly. Literally, the world could be on fire. I won't know until 8 a.m. Sorry, I won't know until I turn my phone on and I tune in. And that's a boundary I set for myself to help me affirm my rest. So again, affirming activities, affirming friends, affirming documentation, affirming consumption, and affirming rest.
This can be your day for personal growth. This can be that day you committed to and you remember and you go, that was the day I got myself a community. I got better coaches. I committed to making my life the absolute best that I could. This is that day. Make today your growth day. Click the button on this page and sign up right now.